Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying for Beginners with Jim Misiura. Today we're going to tie a wet fly, and this is a pretty good wet fly. This is called the Fore and Aft. The hook that I have in the vise, this is quite a large hook. This is a 2 extra long wet fly nymph hook, and it is a size 10. You could tie these from size 10 down to size 18 if you'd like. I'm going to use a tannish brown thread, and this is 70 denier, and we're going to start that thread behind the eye. We're going to put that base of thread down, and we're going to bring that back to where the barb would have been if I hadn't mashed it down. Wet flies are pretty fun to fish. Use this when there's a mayfly hatch. If you see a hatch going off and don't really see anything feeding on the surface, try the fore and aft just under the surface, even a little deeper, and cast it across and down. Let it swing with the current and hold on, because when they hit this, it's going to be a pretty powerful hit, especially with that line going downstream. Okay, we're going to start with the aft, and what I'm going to use is, this is a natural hen feather. It's a speckled brown hen feather. You can see I kind of prepared it. I pulled all the fluff off the back. I'm going to take the hackle. You can put a little pair of hackle pliers on the front of it, and then take those barbels and stroke them to the rear there a little bit. Be careful with the hen feathers, they tend to be a little bit delicate. We're going to tie this in from the tip, and we're going to have it with the concave side toward the hook. And this way the hackle should, when you wrap it, the hackle should go towards the rear. Then we're going to kind of fold the hackles towards the rear. I have to put some hackle pliers on there. Fold them towards the rear, and then you go ahead and wrap that. You can stroke them towards the rear as you go. Got a couple of them sticking forward there. I'm just going to take them and kind of stroke them towards the back there. And now I'm out of hackle, so I'm going to go ahead and tie that down. Break that off. If you have a couple of them going forward, see if you can just stroke them to the rear. I got a couple of them there. I'm going to trim them off. And I got one on the bottom. That'll work. Now we're going to put a rib in. And for that rib, I have an extra fine copper wire. We're just going to tie that in right there next to the hackle. And we'll secure that. In this fly, you can actually put weight on it. You could actually even put a bead on it if you'd like, depending on the depth of the water. the speed of the water. Now we're going to take pheasant tail, and we're going to take about 6 or 8 pheasant tail fibers and pull them off. And I'm going to tie these in by the tip. Fishing wet flies, like I said, it gets pretty exciting sometimes. We're going to wrap the pheasant tail. I'm going to put my hackle pliers on there because it's kind of small. Keep them twisted there a little bit. Then bring that right up to the front and go ahead and tie that off. And trim away that excess. Make sure you push your thread out of the way with your finger before you go cutting. Clean that up there a little bit. Now I'm going to take my rib, I'm going to counter wrap, that being the opposite direction that I wrapped the pheasant tail. And this way the copper won't just fall in line with the pheasant tail fibers. In fact, it'll go over them like that. And we're going to tie that in. And with that extra fine, you can just break that copper wire off. Clean up that head just a little bit. Bring that thread right back to about 1 eye length from the eye of the hook. Now I'm going to take another of the hen hackles. And once again, strip them towards the rear, or not strip them, but stroke them towards the rear. And we're going to tie that in with the tip forward and concave side to the shank. And we'll trim off that excess again. Put the hackle pliers on there again. Stroke it to one side. Just give it a couple strokes. You can see when it starts to go. And then wrap that. And again, you can stroke those fibers towards the rear as you're wrapping. Get some nice tight wraps on that stem. And we can tie that off. Oop, let me grab that stem. There we go. And I'm going to stroke anything towards the rear. And if you have to, you can come back 1 thread length on that hackle. Go ahead and break that off. Now we're going to tie off the head. You can use a little bit of a darker head if you'd like. Take our whip finish Go ahead and tug on that, tighten it up, and remove that excess. Give it a little bit of head cement. And here we have a fore and aft wet fly. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please visit my sponsors, leave comments, questions, suggestions, and most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.